blues improvising is very modular. By that I mean that once you've mastered a lick, you can use it over and over again in different songs. And the interesting thing is that your audience won't necessarily notice that you're just recycling the same ideas. That's because it's quite easy to disguise the fact that you're using the same lick by simply varying different elements of the lick, changing its tempo, changing its rhythmic emphasis, and also just sort of adding a note here, subtracting a note there, endlessly repeating various bits of it. There's all sorts of ways, in other words, that you can disguise the fact that you're using the same basic licks. The end result of this kind of working with licks is that you end up with an almost sort of infinite variety of your own sort of library of licks. Now in this lesson we're going to teach you one or two very commonly used licks in each of the 5 positions. And then we're going to show you or suggest ways of how you can use these licks as a point of departure for developing your own licks. You'll find the tab for all these licks in the toolbox, and it might be a good idea if you can to print that off before you start the lesson. If you can't print it off, don't worry, we will be showing you each lick note for note. Alright, so here's the first lick. We're showing you these in the key of A, so this one starts off by aligning our first finger at the 5th fret, first position in the key of A. Let's look at the detail. So here we are, first position in A. We start right here on the 3rd string, 7th fret with the 3rd finger, and we're going to make a nice controlled bend here, so good idea perhaps to put at least a 2nd finger, if not a 3rd finger, behind that 1st finger to give it a bit of reinforcement. Nice big bend. Really we're trying to bend it to be in tune with that next note, which is the E at the 5th fret on the 2nd string. And then we fold the finger across to grab that top string at the same fret, the 5th fret. So the first part of this is, next we come down on the 5th string, I beg your pardon, 2nd string, the B string, pulling off from the pinky to the 1st finger, from fret 8 to fret 5 on the B string. Then we're down to the G string, and here we've got a slightly awkward double pull off going from the pinky to the 3rd finger and the 3rd finger to the 1st. So that's fret 8 on the G string, pulling off to fret 7 on the G string, pulling off to fret 5 on the G string. May take a bit of practice. It's kind of a rolling action. Then we're back down to our key note A on the D string at the 7th fret. Back to the 1st finger, 5th fret on the G string with a little bend, and then resolving back on the key note again. So in slow motion, that's this is what I call a great combination lick, in that each part of the lick can itself be broken down and called a separate lick and be used in its own right. Let's just show you what I mean by that. So just the first 2 notes you can use over and over again. Much beloved to Chuck Berry and people like that, good rock and roll lick. And then just adding the next note. Again, you can use that over and over again. And then the next 3 notes, you can cycle those round. and putting those first two sub licks together. Makes a nice kind of texture. Then that second lick and the third lick. You often hear that used together. That note coming down to that, you hear that used together. And then just the last combination of notes. Used like that. So there you go, worth practicing each part of that in its own right. So, assuming that you've put in a bit of work there to learn that lick basically as it is, here are a few suggestions for variating on it. First of all, changes in rhythmic emphasis. When we first play it, perhaps it might be, and you know, there's quite a strong emphasis on that note, and that note there. So try perhaps shifting that and put the emphasis on the second note. It's a different lick. It's the same note, but the ear hears that as very different. Maybe let's take the emphasis onto this note. Again, it comes out as a different lick. Change the tempo, play it real slow. Sounds quite melodic. Play it frenetically fast. Sounds more like a kind of blues rock lick. Change the dynamics. Start soft and then get louder. Or start loud and get softer. Add a few notes in, maybe subtract some notes instead of going jump straight to again, creates a new lick. And then look at linking from that lick to licks in adjacent positions. And that helps you evolve new licks as well. So now it's time to have a listen to these used in context. I'm going to play against the A backing track. By all means play along, have a go at stealing some of my ideas, but also take the ideas and develop them into your own. Experiment, don't be afraid to sort of make mistakes and things. Sometimes when you're trying new ideas, things are going to sound a little bit worse before they sound better again, but that's all part of the process. Okay.